the night-night? Seemed like you were really ready to do that.
No, it actually just came to me once I laid the ball up. I wasn't really thinking about it. Then I laid the ball up. I turned, I saw Steph. And it was like, Dean, it's time. So, at least I think that's what happened. I don't know, sometimes I just be in the moment and lost. It was fun, really fun. It's good to see Cat show up and play like that. He played hard, played well. He was physical. Probably most physical I've ever seen him. Had a little extra motivation, so that made the game really fun. That was great.
Dre, how much better, or do you feel better now in a game like that where it's physical and you have a lot more strength, athleticism on this team? Do you feel better about being able to engage in a game like that?
100%. I think before we just didn't quite have the size to match up to that type of size that team has and physicality that they play with. Now we do. And it makes the game a lot more manageable, a lot more fun to play in. And it obviously gives us I got him. That was nice. Yeah, so I think, and obviously you can see in the wins that, you know, we can stand up to that type of physicality a lot better than we could before.
Starting lineup tonight, you had some moments where you were guarding Karl Anthony Towns. What did the coaches tell you about what your job was tonight?
It's basically the same than always. Just go there, play hard, play with energy, trying to find the best shots for me or my teammates. But that was definitely a special moment for me because it was my first starting at home, and just to see my name on the big screen and saying from Brazil, number 15, Gui Santos, that was a very special moment for me.
Do you still have those moments that feel like a dream?
Yes, definitely, especially because the things has happened so quick for me. Like in the beginning, I was not playing that much, but then I started playing more and having more opportunities. And everything I feel comfortable, definitely, but at the same time, I feel like it's a dream coming true.
Congratulations. And one of your fellow starters, Moses Moody, you guys are 18-1 when he is a starter. Were you aware of that stat?
Yeah. I've seen that around already, so he's another great guy. He play hard, he play well, he can shoot the ball. He's a special guy definitely, and you can see like he started the game with a lot of energy, bring the hustle too, and that show up on the court, show up on the stats, and the winning is most important.
Your head coach set a record tonight with 558 wins. What have you discovered about Steve Kerr's coaching style?
He's a very chill guy. I think he's the perfect balance. You know, when he has to be mad and like scream with us, he does it. But when he gotta be chill and he gotta like just encourage us, he's the same guy. So I'm so happy for him because I know how tough it is to win a lot of these games. But I think when you got Steph and you got guys special like he has to coaching, and together with his mentality and everything, that's no other way. Just like winning like he always did.
What was it like seeing Draymond drop a night-night?
It's always funny. It's always good because Draymond is such a energy guy. So when he does it, it's kind of different than Steph. Steph is always more. He's more like, yeah, I'm good night. But we like it. We love you in the bench.
Congratulations on the win streak too.
Thank you.
Was as we take a look at our Toyota drive ahead and these next two games, Monday, Tuesday, a monster back-to-back at Chase Center. The Denver Nuggets. The Warriors haven't beaten Denver Nuggets in the regular season since March 10th of 2022. That's right, they've lost 8 consecutive regular season games against the Denver Nuggets. Of course, they beat them on the way to the championship in 5 games in 2022, but then they get Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're trying to get their season on track. They'll end this long homestand with the game against the Raptors, looking for some payback, but let's focus on the Denver Nuggets. We showed the highlight a little bit earlier. Jordan Poole basically going night-night on the Nuggets, hitting the game winner and going swimming there as he was having a pool party. They get swept by the Wizards. They struggled last night against the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers, basically the South Bay Lakers. I mean, Austin Reeves and a bunch of dudes out there playing. Yeah. Denver's not playing well right now, but Aaron Gordon should be available Monday night.
Yeah, but it's Denver. If you're the Warriors, you can't look at the team's roster and go, they're missing this guy, they're missing that. Right. You just got to go, look, we got to do what we got to do to win the game. And when you haven't beaten a team in a long time, there's a certain mentality you got to get over. And some of the losses have come in games that the Warriors know they probably should have won.
No doubt.
So you got to look at this as a game that says, okay, this game will prove to us that, okay, you know what? That's in the past. It's in the past. It's a new team now. And it is a new team. They got to show it.
One game that sticks out to me in particular was the game with the Warriors beating them the whole game. I think they were up by 20 at some point. And at the end, Nikola Jokic hits the crazy shot, the three-pointer bank shot from like half court to win the game. And I think this is some of the games that Draymond's talking about, where he says you're walking into games feeling like we can win these games. It gives you so much more confidence, but it gives you so much more swagger when you believe in your team like that. And you see that from everyone across the roster.
Yeah, you mentioned that game, Nikola Jokic. That was a game J.K. didn't play the final 18 minutes and went basically to Steve Kerr saying, I want out. Yes, he started balling. That was a turning point for his young career. But Denver has had the Warriors number, including this year, back on December the 3rd when they won by 4, and the Warriors were in that game. So it'll be interesting to see how they defend Jokic. I'm waiting for this back-to-back. This is going to be a dandy.
Well, it's the back-to-back of Draymond Green matchups with big men.
Jokic, Quentin Post is going to get baptized. He's going to get trial by fire.
I love seeing Draymond, Karl Anthony Towns matchup. I love seeing Quentin Post on him, Kevon Looney a little bit. And I think that's going to be a good test again for the Warriors going against Nikola Jokic, because you're going to see a lot of good big men coming.
Don't look too far ahead, but after Jokic, you got Giannis.
Hey everyone, it's Dubs Talk, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World with Dalton Johnson. I'm Kareth Burke. We are coming to you after the Warriors got their 7th straight win, the longest win streak of the season. It ties the longest win streak in the West. They are tied with the Timberwolves coming up behind them. When every game matters, they need to buckle down and get this type of win over the Knicks. And there are some crazy stats coming out of this one. Again, 14-1 with Jimmy Butler in the lineup, but I want to start with Moses Moody. We are going to hear from Jimmy Butler later in the show, but the Warriors are 18-1 when Moses Moody is a starter. That number keeps going up, up, up. Look at his last 3 games here. What you're seeing is a very potent Moses Moody and one who's playing efficiently.
Efficient is a great word right there, Kareth. And you can take it back even further. The last 5 straight games now, he's made multiple three-pointers, 4 more tonight, a plus 12 overall with, I believe, 18 points. But it felt like every single three-pointer was more timely than the next one.
Yes.
It felt like, let's just say it, clutch. Another clutch game for the Warriors, but another clutch performance overall by Moses Moody.
Rich Paul loves hearing you say clutch, because that's who he's with.
Clutch with a C, clutch with a C.
But you're right, because the timing of his buckets and the array of his buckets, where he was getting them from, that felt just, the word I was going to say was sensible, but no, potent. Let me go back to potent, because Moses Moody has that knack on the floor. I think back to earlier seasons when the word we heard for Moses was patience. There's a log jam ahead of him. The path is wide open now as a starter.
When I think about the comfort and the confidence that we talked about pregame too, there was a moment on the floor where Gary Payton II was kind of trying to direct Moses Moody, and he gave them like the stop, like I'm in my area. The ball kept swinging and the Warriors scored right there. Okay. And I'm going, okay, that's Moses Moody in control. That's not his mind speeding up. It's the game slowing down right there in real time. So I think that we're seeing every facet of Moses Moody just understanding his role and knowing what kind of player he is right now in year 4 for these Warriors.
I got this, he said.
Yes.
And Moses Moody is at the podium. Let's take a listen.
Those is the physicality that you bring, what you do at both ends. What would you tell your rookie self, knowing what you've known and been through, all the situations you've been through?
It's a good question. I would tell my rookie self that you're right. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep working. Keep getting better. Taking the criticism, figuring out ways to get on the court. Because eventually you'll be there, and all the stuff that you're doing and working on is going to pay off.
On that note, what do you think has most contributed to your two-way surge?
I've been working on like technique. So the way that you move laterally, footwork, stance, knowing when you can be more aggressive. So I think it's been more figuring things out than even as much hard work.
Thank you.
Moses, I was watching you playing defense, and you guard them. I'm from NBA Rakuten from Tokyo. I'm Chris Sasaki. I was watching your eyes, especially on the ball, And where is your eyes focused on, especially when you're guarding the opponent's main ball handler?
I try to focus on the hips because you can move, you can do fake moves or whatever, but whatever your hips say you're going, that's where you're going. Also try to time the dribble sometimes because you kind of pick up on the rhythm and the cadence. So that's how you can get some of them pokes and steals when you just reading, you know when the ball is hitting the floor, when it's in his hand, so you can read the cadence on that.
Your eyes weren't moving that much. It seemed like you were kind of like trying to see the big picture. Is that how you approach it? Like just the hips?
On ball?
On ball, yeah.
I'm always looking at something. So sometimes I'm looking at the hips. Sometimes I'm timing the dribble. Those are usually the two things I'm looking at when I'm on ball. But maybe I'm looking at both. Yeah.
When you talk about improving your lateral quickness, how do you do that? It can't just be like, it's got to be more than just doing a million defensive slides.
Yeah. That's why I say it's more figuring stuff out than even hard work. Watching other guys. Stack has been talking to me a lot, as well as AD and Rick on the strength staff. But just figuring out, if your feet are too wide, then sometimes it's harder to move laterally, even though that you wouldn't think that. But if you're closer together, then you can step faster, you can move faster. But figuring things out like that, I think has been the biggest difference rather than doing a million defensive slides.
And what was the key tonight, just defensively holding them to 94 points as a team?
Pressure. We had a good game plan going in. Shout out to my man Everett, who had the scouts tonight. So we had a good game plan going into the game, and we executed it. Ball pressure picking up, as well as the help behind ball pressure. Draymond guarded Cat really well, as well as helping everybody else on defense. It was a team effort, and it was a good one.
How valuable are
There's some really smart stuff in there from Moses Moody, who, in addition to being efficient on the scoreboard, has been locking down on defense more. We're looking at this no fouls tonight, 2 steals. You're also talking about some of the strip steals he had in the previous game, and you were even thinking back to that Pistons game.
The way that he guarded Cade Cunningham in that game, where I think he held Cade to 7 points in the first half. Yeah, Cade Cunningham, who's a superstar in the making, wound up with 31 that night. But against his former high school teammate, his former Mountain Verde teammate, we saw the aggressiveness right there, where Moses Moody right now is able to use that long wingspan and still slide and stay in front so well. The way he's talking about the hips, I almost think about a defensive back in football, looking at like the core and all those fundamentals. And when I hear fundamentals, that's part of the Jimmy Butler effect, the footwork, all the little things. This is what the game was all about tonight. Every small detail mattering. It mattered.
I know what you
mattered
meant. Yeah.
In a heavyweight fight between the Knicks and the Warriors.
All right, and you know Steph Curry.